Welcome back. This semester I'm going to try to keep up with the progression of the class and record as many mini lectures as possible. And although these lectures are not a replacement for reading the textbook, I do not want to place I do want to place some attention on some highlights. Now, no lecture will be a complete review of the textbook, so if you solely rely upon the lecture to get you through, you will not have a sufficient level of understanding to do well. So please read the book. See if I can get this to flip over. There we go. The first thing that I want to draw your attention to is the entire concept of globalization. It wasn't too long ago that you could think of your country as an island, and companies only did business in foreign markets if they wanted to. And now that situation has changed quite a bit, because not only are there U.S. companies dominating foreign markets, but there are companies from other countries that are dominating our market. And I need to clarify something when I use the term foreign markets. Now, many of us have been conditioned to think of foreign markets as non-U.S. markets, and that won't work in this class. I want you to think of yourself as traveling on a spaceship over the earth and looking down on all the different countries. Now, a foreign market is any market that is not your own. So for an African company, the U.S. is a foreign market, and we need to stop thinking about the U.S. as being the center of the world economy and train our brains to think of the U.S. market as a potential foreign market as well. Now, students consider that when working in international business as a future career, that they are likely to be working in another country, and that is fine. There is nothing wrong with that point of view. However, do not forget that many companies are coming here, and that international opportunities exist right in our own backyard to help foreign countries do business here. So let's just think about the local area. I mean, we have Steel Corporation in Virginia Beach, and that is a German company that manufactures chainsaws and other equipment. And we have Canon in Newport News, and that company is a Japanese company that manufactures printers and toner and cameras. And that is only two examples of where the U.S. is. That is only two examples of where the U.S. is a foreign market to a company. And when we think about the globalization of markets, we are speaking of countries that purchase together or are similar enough in economic activities that we can access those countries as a group. And mere geography may be enough to add a country to a group. But when we consider globalization of production, we are speaking of countries that are known for their manufacturing activities that fuel worldwide import of goods. And China has been a low-cost producer for the United States for many years, but that is changing. And now China has its own low-cost producers in the countries of Laos and Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. So as the wealth travels from customers buying goods through the outlets that sell to the companies that manufacture, the shift in where the goods are produced also changes. I went the wrong way. Now, over the next few slides, I want to look at some of the more influential trading blocks just to give you an idea of exactly how expansive this activity actually has become. And we hear a lot about the European Union, and that includes all the countries shown here in light gray. And that includes Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, United Kingdom. We are part of the North American Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, and that includes Canada, the United States, and Mexico. MERCOSUR is another powerful group of countries in South America, and it includes Brazil and Uruguay and Argentina. And the ASEAN trading bloc is made up of Brunei and Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, Thailand. So when we take a worldwide view of the globalization activities, we can see how countries are grouped together and they form these alliances for mutual economic advantage. And after all, no one is going to join a trading bloc if it works to their disadvantage, right? Well, we're going to learn a little bit about that later, maybe or maybe not. And after this lecture, you'll watch a Max Kaiser video and comment in the discussion board about what is going on in the European Union trading bloc, Now, along with globalization activities in terms of how countries work together, companies also cross international borders to become active in sales and production in several countries at one time. And these multinational companies can be based or headquartered in a single country, but in order to fuel their desire for ever increasing sales and growth, they may be marketing around the globe on a continual basis. Coca-Cola and McDonald's are just two companies that are pursuing customers everywhere they can find them. And when we talk about the world economy, and when you see the topic discussed in a real world in-depth news analysis like the Max Kaiser video, you should think about what is being said in terms of opportunities for firms. In the case of the European Union, the Union formed to strengthen its ability to conduct trade around the world, but it also needed to make a provision for all the companies in the European zone that had to transit maybe 3 or 4 countries in Europe to get their products from Portugal to Germany. Can you imagine what it used to be like? Every time a shipment left a factory in Eastern Europe, taxes and duties had to be paid every time the truck passed through a country's border. Now with the European Union, there is supposed to be free trade among all the countries, and it's supposed to be fairly easy for a producer in the eastern part of Europe to get their products to the market in the western part of Europe. And that is wonderful, but when there are economic problems and political problems and the world economy is unstable, some countries are doing better than others. And when you consider an integrated economy like the European Union, you have a situation where the economically stronger countries are trying to help the economically weaker countries. But in the case of Germany, they have helped and helped and helped and sent money and propped up banks in other countries until now their own stability is at risk. And this is certainly what is happening in the European Union as we speak. So when we look at globalization, and when we look at how globalization can take on the appearance of sending jobs overseas and weakening our own economy, we cannot forget that when we are looking for inexpensive foreign products at Walmart, the globalization, lost jobs, and income of which we complain all the time made that possible. You really can't have it both ways. If you are going to want to buy solely based upon price, if you are not going to discriminate or even consider where your products are being made, and if you do not think past the cash register receipt, then international trade is what makes it possible for you to get an $8 shirt or a 99-cent bottle of shampoo or a $10 MP3 player. Now I guess when you look beyond just the cash savings and look to how other countries may be doing business, the same countries that are willing to send us super cheap products are also the same countries that are having trouble protecting their labor force and ignoring environmental concerns. And it may not seem fair that I'm painting with a broad brush here, but think about it. If a company does not have to pay a fair wage in a foreign country, or they can use child labor, or if they do not have to pay for proper environmental treatment of their waste products, then their operating costs are lower and the price of the finished product is lower. Ultimately, we benefit in the Western world because of the sacrifices being made in other parts of the world. Do we care? Do we even think about it? And would we be willing to pay higher prices across the board by supporting these less developed countries and protecting their labor force and their environment? Costs could possibly double, easily double. Are we willing to buy into that in order to keep jobs here? In order to strengthen our own economy, are we willing to actually pay those higher prices? So truly, this becomes an issue of where do we go from here?